This right here is the brand new Ultraviolette F77 Mark II EV motorbike. And just wait for it, watch this, ready? It's coming. Look. How freaking cool is that? So this bike was actually designed by aerospace and aviation engineers. So what we're going to do today is we're going to race it against that RC jet. This is freaking cool. But that's not all. This will be the first ever non-combustion motorbike to be sunk into the world's deepest pool. Namaste. Let me tell you about this beast right here. So as I said, this is a full EV bike and it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It's been designed and manufactured in India. So you've got the flags here. You can see one down the side. You can see one here on the handlebars. This bike actually took 5 years of research and development by, what I said before, aerospace and aviation engineers. So when you think about it, it's quite impressive actually that they're going up against some of the big guys in the biking industry when they've really only been around for 5 years. Now this is the Mach II F77. This is the updated version of the F77 that came out last year. Now I just want to take you through a few of the design features. This has a completely new chassis and you can see here these fairings actually envelop the whole bike. So it has a super sleek aerodynamic design. This has completely even weight distribution. So 50 in the front, 50 in the back. It weighs 200 kilos. It's super quick, super powerful, but not only that, listen to this. This bike right here can haul up to 15,000 kilograms. That is 70 times its own weight. You got these low sitting headlights, and what's cool is these daytime running lights here, they actually have a sensor that adjusts the brightness depending on how bright the sun is. So it'll get brighter or it will dim according to the environment. All right, let's talk about what you can't see, because that is actually what makes this bike really special. Serge, what do you got?
Yeah, so a lot of tech features. It has an integrated AI system, in-house operating system too. It's got a bunch of little features which I really like. What's interesting too is that this bike is pretty smart. It won't turn on when you have the kickstand down. It's just a smart kickstand. In order to turn the bike on, you need to have the key and then you turn it right. And basically you'll see this water resistant display at the front. And this is when their in-house operating system kind of kicks in. It all looks very fighter jetty, and you can change your drive mode. So when I click this button on the right, that'll switch from glide to combat mode. And when it turns red, that's your ballistic mode.
This bike comes with its own Ultraviolette app. You can control all of these modes from the app. Ballistic, glide, combat. Now, this is also the regen level. Basically, the higher your regen level, the less you need to brake. You just take your hand off the accelerator and the bike will brake automatically.
The bike can basically recharge every time it slows down. So when you let go of the throttle, it'll start slowing down naturally. And the way the regen works is they get energy from the deceleration of the bike to recharge the battery. Now, they have 10 levels. Level 0 is nothing. The bike will continue rolling around until it naturally comes to a stop. Then you have level 1, which is a little bit of regen. And then it goes all the way to level 10, where the bike will aggressively slow down. 60, there you go. No brakes, nothing. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's like literally its own thing. In theory, you wouldn't really even need to use the brakes if you had enough distance between yourself and the next vehicle.
Now, when it comes to charging, there are two different fast charging solutions available. The Boost charger, which can charge from 20 to 80% in under 2 hours, and the Supernova, a faster solution that can charge from 20 to 80% in just under an hour. In terms of range, they can go for 323 kilometers, which is pretty insane for an EV motorbike.
When you go to the back, looks very nice, very clean. You have the twin taillights on each side, the brake lights going down the middle, and above it is the F77 badge once again. So the bike, in terms of performance, will do 0 to 100 in 7.7 seconds, and will do 0 to 60 kilometers an hour in 2.8 seconds. Now, what I think is really cool is down here, you actually have documents. So you can go in and show your documents if you get pulled over. So you have your driving license, your insurance, your registration. I think that's pretty cool. You don't have to keep papers on top of you all the time. All of this smart tech itself is called Violet AI, and some more of the features, for example, include the control center, your daily ride analytics. It also has Delta Watch, which is your anti-theft mode. It's got crash alerts, anti-collision warning systems.
One more smart feature that we really like is that it has a Find My Bike mode. So if for whatever reason you lose your bike or forget where you parked it, it'll show up on your GPS and tell you exactly where it is. All right, now that we know everything about this beast right here, the F77 Mach 2, there's only one thing left to do, and that is the race. But before then, let's see what it's up against. Look at this thing. Just look, to scale. Until recently, I had no idea that you had remote controlled jets. This thing is worth $26,000. And it's actually run on Jet A fuel, which is the same fuel that Boeing uses. So when it starts up, it sounds exactly like a Boeing starting up. It's really, really cool to witness. The top speed, so once it gets going, is 370 kilometers an hour. And this is all just remote controlled. Isn't that crazy? So you've got carbon fiber pieces throughout, and it can actually pull 15 Gs. So you do not want to be sitting in there. This is extraordinary. This is a cool hobby. Now we know a little bit more about both of these contenders. It is time for the big race. Are you ready? Sergi! Serge!
All right. It's pretty tight.
Now for the rules. This is a drag race between the jet and the bike, and it's all about acceleration. In the air, this jet can go faster than a Lamborghini Veneno, so this is strictly a ground race. As soon as I signal the start of the race, the first to reach the point of where the jet begins to take off to become airborne wins. There are your rules, so let's race. So he's got his kit on, the RC Jet is ready at the starting line to go. So let's just do this thing. All right guys, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Surge, ooh! This is freaking cool.
That was awesome. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. It's so fast.
Can you imagine one wrong move? That's $26,000. Mad.
That was so cool. All right, so we've seen how this bike performs above ground. Now we got to find out how it'll perform underwater. That's crazy.
With the race finished, it's time to take the F77 Mark II to our friend Amir's workshop to get it completely covered in resin, which is required for it to go into the world's deepest pool, basically to make sure no water gets in and damages the bike.
So Amir, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
This is Amir. You guys have probably seen him on the channel before, but he owns the garage. He's worked with other projects that we've had.
So basically, we're going to be protecting the bike with the resin.
Yeah.
It's a special chemical that's only for protection anything from rust, underwater, because this bike is going to be going in deep dive.
Yeah, very deep.
Very deep. So we are going to be applying 2 coats to make as much as protection we can from every single angle by spraying it and by using a roller.
All right, well, let's get started then. That's it? That's all I do?
Yes,
No more?
That's it.
Yeah, it just feels like I don't know what I'm doing, but they said that that's the way to go for now, so just...
Doing a good job there, Serge, but I think we actually want to be able to sync the bike. So let's leave the rest to the pros, and we'll see the Mach 2 in a few days. The world's deepest pool. It's 60 meters deep, that's 200 feet, and took over 2 years to construct. It holds around 1.5 million gallons of water, and it has the capacity to contain 14 million litres of water, which is equal to the volume of 6 Olympic swimming pools. A team of engineers had to first excavate a big enough hole to hold the entire pool. They then had to reinforce the sides of the hole with concrete so that the water wouldn't be able to leak out. Now, we're going to take 1 feat of engineering and put it into another feat of engineering, which might be a feat of engineering itself.
All right, this is it. Wow. All right, so they have the crane right there in the middle. I think we're going to be using that. And it's crazy, but this goes down 60 meters. It's almost hard to believe. That's the bike right there. All right, let's walk over. So yeah, look, you can already see from a distance a little bit that it's covered in resin, so everything is covered up, and it has this buoyancy pads basically to help descend the bike in a controlled kind of way, because without those it would just sink and I can't hold it up. So that's going to help descend it. What's the next step? We'll get changed and...
So next step is to prepare for the dive, and then at the same time we'll start to move this one into the water, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, great, sounds good. Let's see what happens. Let's push it in. So we need some help with this. Maybe everyone can come in and
Now, this is an operation that shouldn't be taken lightly. The bike weighs 200 kilos, so it needs everyone to lift it into the water. A single slip-up could be bad, not only for the bike, but for anyone carrying it in.
So that's just the motorcycle filling up, right, with water?
This is air-filled spaces that contains air.
Wow.
That provides a lot of lift, so we need to get rid of the air first.
All right, so next step, gotta get my flippers on, gonna get the rest of the gear, gonna jump on the bike, and apparently they want to put me on the crane. I have no idea how that's gonna work, but that's what they want to do, so I'll let them decide.
Each diver, including Sergi, has been specially trained to be able to dive as deep as the bike. Just because it's a pool doesn't mean this whole thing should be taken lightly. Now that everyone has their gear on, it's time to go in. The goal here is to sink the bike carefully into the water using the crane and the floats. But things can go wrong with this plan.
This is so weird to look at. It's just a motorbike hanging above water.
The idea is, once the bike is submerged, they'll release air bit by bit from the floats so that it can have a controlled descent. As you can imagine, this isn't the easiest thing to pull off whilst in diving gear and being underwater. If they don't take the floats off correctly, it could end up with the bike sinking uncontrollably and very quickly to the bottom of the pool. Now that the right amount of air has been taken off, Sergi can get into position for the money shot. go. Look at that, guys. That's a moment. Pretending to ride a bike underwater has never looked so cool. As the bike is approaching its landing, the team have run into a bit of an issue where it's been completely flipped. And totally unrelated to Sergi breaking script and getting on the bike, by the way. That didn't cause it at all. Great to see Serge helping there. But because of this, it's become an even bigger operation to try and get this bike down there safely. Have you ever seen anything like this before? We're sinking an actual motorbike into what is basically an underwater city. Now that the bike's made it to the landing, there's only one more thing left to do. Get this bike the right way round without causing any damage to the bike. And that's it, they've done it. The Ultraviolette F77 Mark II has been cemented in history and sunk to the world's deepest pool. That's pretty cool.
Alright, that's a wrap. Where's Serge?
What a day. Okay, we first started off with the Ultraviolette F77 Mark II against the RC Jet. Then we took the bike, threw resin on it and dropped it into the world's deepest pool. That's it. It's going to be there for everyone to see now. I hope you like the video. Like it. Subscribe to the channel. We've got so much more cool stuff coming. Love you. Out.